Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 117 with my man Jamie Rufe. He is probably one of the best Chinese, we say Mandarin, but we say Chinese in Taiwan, best speakers as a foreigner in Taiwan. He's so good. He's actually teaching other foreigners. All right, brother.
Thanks so much
man.
for having me. It's
like I need some organization tips, man, from you.
well, I think it took a little destiny for us meeting at that pitch event to finally be all right. Let's make it happen. You know?
Yeah, for sure. It was the first time I actually saw you in person.
That's right.
I was like, oh, hey, what's up? Yeah. How are you doing with spicy food usually, man?
I'm good. I love spicy food.
You're
or
good?
put it this way, I love it. My body doesn't, but I can handle it.
Okay. There you go.
Beautiful.
The drum's got obviously a lot more meat on it, so enjoy, please. I also look forward to the wings. So I know, let's take a little step back. And originally, what brought you to Asia? You started in China, right?
Yes, that's
You're
correct.
saying you started in China,
Yeah.
and then you came here. So what originally brought you out to Asia before we get like real deep?
So usually, I guess you could say the set piece story that I tell people is that when I was growing up, my father had his own business and most of his customers were in China and Taiwan.
Okay.
So even when I was growing up, I get to say some indirect exposure.
Okay. Beautiful.
To these two places. And I was fortunate enough in high school, pretty late in high school, I had the opportunity to take a Chinese class.
Okay.
And I kind of leapt at the opportunity, and that got the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got into university, I continued with it. So at that point, I had 4 or 5 years of learning Chinese.
Okay.
And I was fortunate enough to be able to do a study abroad program in Beijing during the Olympics in 2008.
So
that was
awesome. Yeah.
like an amazing experience. And that kind of lit a spark inside of me that I'm like, I think there's something to working in China or exploring what China has to offer when I get out of school.
Yeah. Yeah.
So pretty much my entire senior year, my final year in university, I was like, all right, I was super focused. Like that's where I want to go.
Yeah.
I managed to get a foothold in Shanghai with a small education consultancy. And then
you were in your 20s, early 20s, or even teens?
I was 22 at that point. So that was right out of college.
Okay. You're doing a lot of promotion on Facebook and YouTube, right? I mean, how has that helped you, or has it helped your business at all? Like I see a lot of your Facebook lives.
Absolutely. So the past few months, I've definitely slowed down. If not kind of completely put it on the back burner, as I've been working on my I've been putting more focus on my thesis at the moment. But definitely like the first half of this year, I was pushing very hard. In fact, I think in March,
almost daily, right?
Yeah, I had I had like a 3-4 week phase in like February, March, where I was like doing Facebook Lives almost every day. I was doing posts, and I was actually documenting this stuff. Like I had a table.
Were you able to see analytics and stuff, or I
mean, I was doing it analog. So like I had a notebook where I had some metrics I was tracking and basically trying to make sure I was hitting those numbers. And really what I was trying to do is I was trying to get sales calls, get people on the phone so that I could try to sell.
Yeah. I saw that you've got a lot of little tips and a lot of little tricks for people like for foreigners to learn the tones and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Like you got something like this. You got like Taiwanese slang and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. So
what's this about?
So this was a video I did with a local teacher named Gloria.
Okay.
And this is where we did a collab because she also has a YouTube channel.
Okay.
So
Beautiful.
I was like, I reached out and like, let's do a video together. And I felt like, definitely I would say the biggest, I don't know if I would call it a risk, but I guess a specialization is I've really started to focus more on Taiwan Mandarin and less on Mandarin as a whole, like where we're talking about.
Do you have the goal is to have this collection of videos, like a course, right?
That's what
I don't know if you already have it. Now you have it.
I'm moving in that direction. So I do have some content. Yeah.
So would it be possible to also offer that to people outside of Taiwan? Have you thought about that, or have you tried that, or?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I had
because if it's all video series, then it's possible, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
So in fact, like the package or the course that I was selling earlier this year was kind of like I kind of called it like a hybrid. So it was like half online course, half like accountability coach. So you work through the program, and yes, we do meet for some one-on-ones, but the frequency of the one-on-ones was a little less, and it was more like a self-study.
Okay.
And I wanted to experiment with that model because that would allow me to make it a little bit more scalable.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Because it didn't require as much of my time. It's The efficacy, I think, it hasn't been as great as I would have liked, because I think for professionals that are just busy, they have unpredictable schedules and other commitments.
Okay.
I think they need a little more structure than I gave. I guess you could say that I gave them credit for.
Okay. So 2 years is Thai's been going for 2 years. Not that long, right? But it's exploded, like 5,000 plus people, I think.
Yeah, we're. In fact, I was checking our analytics yesterday. We're just about 40 members short of 5,000.
Okay,
so if you're watching, you're not part of our group, we do welcome you to check us out.
So the link to your link tree with all your goodies on there is down below. There. So check it out. Join the Taiwan Impact Entrepreneur group.
Yeah,
used to be Taipei.
It used to be Taipei, and then we finally made the switch. So Andrew Clerk, who I believe you also interviewed.
I've had him here, of course. He's a great guy, legend. That guy. Yeah.
He started the group in May of 2020. So right, smack in the middle of the pandemic.
Yep.
And it really just started these casual weekly meetups, and then I think he started the Facebook group. And I met him in December of last year, just as I was like kind of getting started with my Warp Speed Chinese, like kind of building that up again. And really, my involvement in Thai kind of started with like, I saw the value of what Andrew was doing with the group, which is like, for me, it's like a lot of my potential students in business were in this group. Like it felt like the perfect watering hole. So
sure.
For me, it seemed to be like a win-win that if Thai was growing and Thai was improving, then my business and my brand would also improve. For me, it just felt very clear.
The Nifeng is one of the projects you guys are working on. Nifeng, I don't know. The Nifeng project. Is amazing. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, actually, I would say the Nifeng project has been one of the biggest surprises for me this year in 2021, or one of the most pleasant surprises. So I was introduced. For those of you who don't know, it's an organization founded by 3 Taiwanese guys in their early 20s, like early mid 20s.
Cheers, brother.
Oh, cheers, man!
That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
I'm really happy to have you here.
Here's to Nifeng,
Nifeng, yeah.
So all 3 of these guys come from different backgrounds.
Okay.
The founder, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
As far as I know, either most of them are like high school dropouts who were arrested or have records And what they've done is they came together to start this organization where they help young Taiwanese kids. I would say average age is like 18 or 19. It varies. Like one of the young, there are 2 girls who are like 16.
Okay.
So they come from varying backgrounds. Some were abandoned by their families. Some, unfortunately, were abused. Some were in orphanages, also or arrested. It spans the entire thing. And unfortunately, it seems in Taiwanese, like traditional Taiwanese culture, that kids with these type of backgrounds will basically be like shunned, or it'll be like really difficult for them to go the straight path. In Taiwan.
It's really sad, man.
If companies see that they have a record or see these things, like immediately they won't be considered. This is my understanding.
Yeah.
Feel free to correct us if we're wrong. But
sure, of course.
Yeah. So what they're trying to do is help these kids, get back on the right path, stand up on their own feet. Because quite often, these 3 guys, they'll actually make like midnight, late night, rescues, like where they They hear these stories about a certain kid, and they'll go and get the kid out of that environment. They provide a place for them to stay, some basic daily necessities and resources, help them get a job. But here's the interesting thing: is like a lot of these kids, because they didn't come from either they come from broken homes or they weren't raised with some of the values and things that we kind of take for granted. So things like showing up to your job on time, even just simple things like that, they have to kind of teach them. And so actually their core, I guess you could say the core thing they do is they're a theater troupe. So once they bring these kids in, they do different performances and plays. And I've actually been to one of their performances and it was fantastic. I was actually like surprised. This might be a little unfair, but I was like kind of thinking, it's like, oh, it's gonna, that's cute, like that,
right?
But it was actually, I was really impressed.
I'll pull this one up right here. Blam. That was a couple last week, maybe.
So this is separate, yes. But we invited 3 of the kids from Nifeng. So this is Tim, Chicken, and Ruby.
Okay.
Ruby's the one who's in the middle playing the guitar. Chicken's the one in the middle playing guitar.
Okay.
And we invited the three of them to come to our Thai Christmas party to do a quick 30-minute performance.
Okay, sure.
So they did a few songs in English, they did a few songs in Chinese, and for us it was just really cool. Like it was really cool to see them.
I know back home when they want to do something quick, and instead of having to go, of course, we'll donate some vouchers, and I think a lot of people will. But when they got to do something quick, what they do is a 50-50. But the 50-50 is kind of like you buy coupons, and it's not coupons, like tickets or whatever. And then what happens with a 50-50 is you get all the money, and there's one prize. The winner gets half. And then half goes directly to the charity. So they just call it a 50-50. And then people think, the more money goes in, the more chance I get. And then you're like,
That's a really good idea.
So a 50-50 is good.
Because I think from a strategic level, we're like, all right, we need to do some type of raffle.
Just
but the actual
mechanism,
we hadn't quite. So that's a fantastic idea.
So the prize could be 1,000 NT. It could be 100,000 NT, but it's like 50-50. Bam,
Yeah.
So there's no first, second, third. It's just like 50-50. One person gets it. And then depending on the cause, no pressure, but a lot of the times the person will be like, no, just.
Yeah. One of my favorite stories about McDonald's is they.
Did you see the movie, the Ray Kroc one?
I didn't.
It's pretty good.
Interesting. So one of my favorite books on entrepreneurship that I read is called The E-Myth.
Of course,
and,
E-Myth Revisited.
And he talks about the franchise model. And
yeah, I love that book. It's one of the first.
One of my favorite stories from that is where you have a business, you have any franchise, and I would say this is more so in the U.S. than in Taiwan, where you can have 18-year-olds, a team of 18-year-olds running it.
15-year-olds.
But for me, the thing that really I found really amazing is when they had their cashier start saying, "Would you like fries with that?" They had their script. They have their standard SOP script that they have how you interact with customers, and just by adding that one sentence, their margins went up like crazy.
Yeah, brother. Last thing, that's the 5-year plan for Thai. Blowing it up, doing more things all over Taiwan. 5-year plan for Warp Speed. Last question. Warp Speed.
My dream ever since I kind of started that project was I want to have a full online course. So whether it be a full course or just kind of like Netflix, where you go on and you have the lessons you need. That's always kind of what I've envisioned.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's I would say
beautiful.
Something I definitely want to work towards.
I love that, bro. I love that. Before I let you go, we didn't even use most of these pictures. I'm just we'll rapid fire the pictures.
Let's do
cool? It. Yeah. All right. So bam, let's go. What do we got going on?
So
here?
This was just the page. Earlier this year in March, I did a workshop in Taipei with about 10 attendees, where I just kind of worked them through my entire pronunciation system.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I love it.
And this was me teaching at that workshop.
Okay, same workshop.
Yep,
beautiful,
same
beautiful.
workshop.
I love it. I love it.
So this was Andrew and me. So this is when we had raised over 30,000 NT.
Okay. Sorry, yeah.
And this is earlier this year when I did an interview with Paolo.
Paolo. I also did Paolo's podcast. Shout out to Paolo.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Good dude. I think we did this one, right? Yep. Pizza we did.
Yep, right. And this is also, so there on the right, he's one of the volunteer teachers. His name's Andy.
Okay.
And this is with some of the Nifong students.
Okay.
So those cards there.
Cards, yeah.
Yeah, these are great cards. I'm sorry, Anna, I'm blanking on your last name, but this is her product, which are these emotion. Each card has a different emotion, and they're just really good to help the kids kind of talk about their feelings revolving around a certain emotion.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you for coming, brother.
Thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. If you guys want to learn some Warp Speed Chinese, the Linktree link is in the description.
You'll find everything you need down in that link.
Check it out.
Yep.
I recommend it. This guy's Chinese I don't even want to speak Chinese around him. Trying to order a beer, I'm like, ooh, I might do it in English. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for coming.
That was my pleasure.
Appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week.